Good morning all of you, and welcome to the Business Link Fair. I'm going to start off by telling you partly what you would like to know and partly what you wouldn't like to know, in other words, how much it costs. I've no idea what that said in Russian. My wife said it was okay, but she got it off the internet, so if it's something that's offensive, I do apologize. What I'm going to try to do is to go through all of the basics that you need to know if you want to consider UK education. It is something that will be of great benefit to you and your families, we hope. Two things: when to start, how long to stay. Those are the difficult questions that parents have to answer. If you want any further advice about anything in this presentation, either talk to the Business Link staff or have a word with me upstairs. First of all, you've got to decide on what you want. Many people coming to the UK come with the purpose of learning English. Others will come because they want academic qualifications and they want to spend more time in the UK gaining degrees. So the first thing is, what do you want? One option is simply to improve your English and to enjoy a holiday in the UK. And for that, there are a variety of places that will take you for 2, 3, 4 weeks. You'll have a lot of fun. Your English will be a bit better, but it won't be fantastic, and your parents might think, well, that's not the most efficient way of spending money. Most of the schools represented upstairs are UK boarding schools, and some of them will do a short stay. When I say a short stay, I mean half a term or a whole term. And there your children will be with UK speakers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The longer term option are academic courses which lead to UK national qualifications, which are called GCSEs and A-levels, and then university entry, or you may just wish to go straight to a UK university for a degree course, or you may have a degree from Ukraine and you would then like to go to the UK to do a postgraduate course. You need to know more in order to know the answer to these questions, and crucially, especially with the exchange rate, you need to know what the cost is. So if we move on to some of the actual options, if you want to improve your English and have some holiday activities, so this is, let's say, just during the months of July and August, there are summer camps at UK boarding schools which involve, there'll be some English tuition. All the boarding facilities at the boarding schools will be available: swimming pool, tennis courts, theatre, laboratories. English will be spoken all of the time, and the cost of that, excluding the flight, will be about £700 per week. Just to give you an indication of the cost of getting to the UK and back, my flight, which was from Heathrow, London to Kiev, was £140 return. I know that with the current exchange rate, that might seem very expensive to you, but it's very, very good value. Bearing in mind it's a 3.5-hour flight, it would cost me, for instance, £120 to get from London to Paris. So it's not as expensive as certainly we think in the UK. You may find it with an exchange rate today of 43 to 1. Really not very good indeed. The next step up from just sending students over for a holiday and a bit of English is to have go to a summer school where there's a lot of English tuition. There are ones involving 20 hours a week of tuition. That 20 hours a week of tuition will then lead to a qualification which is accepted by UK universities. These therefore represent in many ways far better value. There will be sport and activities in addition to the English. These courses will last between 2 and 6 weeks. They're a little bit more expensive because of the extra English tuition that's offered, and they're around about £800 per week and upwards. Some adults will also want to go. This is not just geared to students. Adults need to have fun. There are a great many English courses based for adults in London and around and about, which also have a lot of recreational activities. You won't find them here at this fair, though. So we're now going to move on from summer schools to UK boarding schools. Some English boarding schools will offer short experience. By short experience, I mean half a term or 1 term. Your academic year finishes at the end of May. The UK academic year finishes at the beginning of July, so the second half of the summer term is an option if you simply want a taste, if you want to know whether or not your children will enjoy the UK, you just want them to have a go without them missing any Ukrainian school, then that's an option. And you should ask the schools upstairs which of them are prepared to do this. This is better than summer school because the students that are there are English and it's term time, so everybody speaks English the whole time. You can't leave a classroom, suddenly find there's another Russian speaker and start talking Russian. That is mainstream school time. So in terms of learning English, it's a much, much better bet. Now, if you want to do an academic course that leads to a UK qualification, I've produced this table with the year of age of the student down the left-hand side. So we start with 5-year-olds. UK education is compulsory for everybody over the age of 5. And they arrive in year 1, and then you simply add 1 as time goes on, so that when you get to 17, you're in year 13. Year 13 is where UK students either take A-level or the International Baccalaureate, which qualify them to go on to university. In the UK, all children start aged 5. It's quite common in the UK for children to move schools in year 8. They'll move into year 9 in a new school. We have quite a lot of overseas students who will arrive in year 10. That is the beginning of what is called the GCSE course. And we'll also find quite a lot who will arrive in year 12, which is the beginning of the A-level course. So if you have a student that you want to send, 2 obvious points of entry are year 10, you begin a GCSE course, it takes 2 years, very general course, very much like what you study in the Ukraine at the moment. A-level is very specialised. You normally only do 3 subjects and you take the final exam usually when you're about 18, and that qualifies you for UK university entry. So we're on to academic courses which lead to UK national qualification and university entry. You will find that some schools will offer, particularly for overseas students, an accelerated course leading to GCSE or IGCSE. Some schools will do a course in 1 year, which will get you as far as GCSE. So if you happen to be too old or you just want the whole thing over and done with in 1 year, if you ask the schools upstairs whether they do a 1-year GCSE or IGCSE course, that will help. UK students normally leave previous schools after year 8 and will do 3 years to GCSE. But as I said, many schools will allow international students to come in year 10. You don't find many UK students arriving in year 10, but a lot of international ones do. And after the 2-year A-level or International Baccalaureate course, application can be made to university. Entry to university usually can be made with A-level or IB, although if you want to go and study in Germany, they don't accept A-level, but they do accept IB, which is why I've mentioned that. The cost of a year at a UK boarding school I put in red because it's quite frightening and will make your eyes water. It's about, the lowest you'll get is about £24,000 a year at the moment. If you multiply that by 43, it's a very big number. Okay, so you've got through school, you've done the International Baccalaureate or you've done A-level and you want to go and study at a UK university, or maybe you have been to school in Ukraine and you want a university education in the UK and you don't want secondary. The standard UK degree is called an honours degree and it takes 3 years of full-time study. A-level is the most popular way of getting into a UK university. International Baccalaureate is perfectly acceptable, but I would also say that anybody coming from Ukraine, if they have qualifications from here, your final school examination will again get you into a UK university. What they will demand from you is that you either have a GCSE in English or that you've got an IELTS score of about 6.5 or 7. IELTS is an English exam for those of you that don't know. It depends whether or not you're doing a science course or you're doing an arts-based course. If you're doing a science course, IELTS 6.5 probably would be fine, but if you're wanting to do a degree in history or geography, then it may be that they'll want 7 or 7.5. So that will be the requirement, plus good results in your exams that you take here, aged 18, in Ukraine. All applications to UK universities go through something called Ucas. It's a common application form. You put in the 5 universities that you want to go to and the courses, and they simply send you back a statement saying, yes, if you get these grades, you can come to our university. You normally apply before you have taken A-level IB or your final exam in your country of origin. So you get to university, and once more they want money from you. All universities charge what's called a tuition fee. That is for the lecturers to be paid and so on. This is the academic bit as opposed to what it costs you to actually live in that city. It varies depending on the subject. If you're doing a subject that doesn't involve laboratories and so on, say you were doing history, it may be that it's £10,000 a year. On the other hand, if you want to do medicine, something that involves extensive laboratory work, it may go up to £20,000 a year, and each university charges a different amount as well. So you've got to look very carefully at the prospectuses in order to get this right. You've also got to live. Most universities will provide what's called a hall of residence, which is usually one room, sometimes with a shower, sometimes not, and sometimes that will include food. I've had 4 children through university. They all said that they needed far more money than I gave them. But by and large, at the moment, the living costs for a student for a year in the UK are around about £8,000. So your total cost might well be, say, £12,000 plus 8. University will cost £20,000 a year approximately. Okay, so you're highly qualified now. You've done some GCSEs. You've got some A-levels or IB. You've got a degree, and you're looking for a postgraduate course. The room has just been entered by a gentleman who teaches children who are very young, and so I must reinforce the fact that we are quite happy to take children boarding in the UK from the age of about 8 upwards. I rather missed that bit out earlier on, and I've now got so far ahead. Your children are around about 23, but the gentleman at the back with the beard there will not buy me a drink in the bar this evening unless I mention his prep school. So you can carry on and do a master's degree, which will be a 1-year course, which I gather is very much the same as the master's degrees that you offer in Ukraine. You will need an upper second class honours degree or a very good degree from your country. Then doctorates, PhD courses, they take about 3 years. They can be variable. Most universities will provide an appropriate supervisor and approve the course that you want to do. So that's really the whole way through, with the exception of an MBA, which is a degree that quite often is done by people who've gone straight into business, not gone to university. Usually most MBA courses will require you to have studied a little bit and then gone on and worked at least 3 years in industry. They'll then take you on. It normally takes 1 year, but sometimes there's a practical element, and it can take 2 years. So anybody of any age can go for an MBA. So we've managed to get you through from the age of about 5 or 6 years old to being 30, 40, or even 50, all educated in the UK. And again, just an estimate of what the cost might be. It really is guesswork once you get to this stage, because all universities are different. But again, £8,000 a year living costs. Some universities will charge huge tuition fees for supervising you for your postgraduate courses. Others won't. It's very variable indeed. At that point, you've got to consult directly with universities. This is the school I'm here representing. I've just tried to give you a very, very basic idea of what goes on. I rather like this bit where the British flag goes into the Lucton shield. I'm very pleased with that. Anyway, Lucton School, and we're upstairs. Please come and talk to us. We offer one-year GCSE or IGCSE courses, which I've explained to you. So typically you get a student who is 16 years old, wanted a very fast track, as it were, into an A-level course. We do that. The standard 2-year A-level courses we do, and 2 or 3-year GCSE courses. We also do summer school, which is an academic one, as I explained to you. You will do 15 to 20 hours of tuition in English each week, which will lead you taking the Trinity examination at the end of the course, which is accepted by UK universities. Other things which aren't academic, we have our own stables. You can ride a horse anytime you want to. Swimming pools, sports halls, and all the rest of it are there. But really what you ought to do to find out more about that is to come upstairs, wander around, and have a chat to everybody. I should encourage you, someone who's been in the business for years, if you can, come and have a look before you send your children. Too many parents just don't go and have a look, and sometimes they have a bit of a shock and find that what they're buying into isn't what they really want. So if you do have the time, and I know it's an extra expense, please try and come over.